All right, welcome back to the Clunker Club. This is 80 Grit. Hope all of you are doing well. Today, we are going to talk about the oil temperature sensor. Now, this thing was very difficult for me to identify what it was in the first place. So I really had to talk to a lot of people to try to figure out what this was. I had removed it. Well, let me show you where it's at first. All right, so right here on the driver's side, we're going to, you see right there, right in between, right there, there's a sensor. And you see how close that is to the spark plugs, and it's under the exhaust manifold. Now, when you pull this wire out, when you take the bolt off or the nut, and you remove this whole assembly that's inside there, there's a sensor on the end of it. And I searched high and low on the internet and could not find anything that matched it. Nothing fit it. I bought all kinds and had to return. You know, I went to all kinds of websites. Couldn't find anything. You know, in order to replace this, I mean, this isn't easy. In order to replace that, you have to remove the entire exhaust manifold. All right, and you have to move it up and down and this and that to get a wrench in there. So when I searched this, I couldn't find it. So I went to Advanced Auto, all kinds of guys that I know in there that work on cars, and they told me exactly what it was. And again, I had cut the line and just pulled it out and said, okay, well, I can replace this. It's nothing but another wire of some sort. If it's a sensor, it's got to be a wire. Well, it is a wire, but that sensor actually, it goes through, as you can see, this one goes through the firewall, right? You can see I got it running up through there. Goes through the firewall into an oil temperature gauge, not the pressure gauge, an oil temperature gauge. Now, let's go inside and I will show you what that actually looks like. All right, this gauge does not carry oil, all right? It's just a sensor. But the sensor is such a strange size, I could not find it anywhere on the internet. And so thank goodness these guys at Advanced Auto really helped me out and talked me through it. And so let me show you the sensor that I purchased, because they're like, if you buy that, you got to buy the sensor, because again, just like the oil pressure line, the copper line, the auto temperature gauge has the line connected to it. It's an automatic fit. It's that easy. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the gauge that I'm talking about. Again, here is the oil temperature gauge. That is where this line connects to. Or better said, this is where the line comes from and goes through the firewall to the sensor on the engine. You have to install it that direction. However, because I don't have a dashboard, that's why it's still in its package. So let me show you the back end of this. As you can tell, the line, which is this black line, all right, let's try to get this focused here for you. See that black line right there? Right there. As you can see, right here, that line is the oil temperature sensor. Okay. Over here on the left is oil pressure. And that's where the copper tube comes in, okay, that we talked about in another episode. Here is the oil temperature sensor. So you see, you can't disconnect this line. It is in there. So you have to install it from the inside out. So this line, this black wire, runs through the firewall. Okay. And I have it installed going through right there. Alrighty. That's where it's located. And so you run it from the inside through the firewall to the engine, and it should fit. And in my case, it does. All right, so I hope that helps. The fact of the matter is, I had to purchase this gauge, the temperature gauge, first, and then run it through the cabin, through the firewall to the engine. Okay, but this gauge actually has and had the correct wiring and correct sensor. And so I had no idea that existed, because I searched high and low to try to find that sensor. I couldn't find anything. I returned all kinds that I ordered. Thank goodness there's some friendly people in the area that could tell me how to do it. And it was easy as pie. Basically, you buy the gauge, and the gauge comes with the wire and the sensor. And it fit perfectly. It probably took me 10 minutes to put in. Well, I hope that helps. Stay with us, subscribe, comment, and let's work on this Chevelle together. Have a good day.